About 10 years ago, when I started my company, I started it with very minimal money. I had pretty much nothing and we were just trying to get ahead. Oh, one of the things early on in my business I realized is I needed to go build a relationship with a banker. And so I went to this banker, I sat down and I said, hey, I'd like to apply for a line of credit or a loan for our business so that we have just some working capital. And I remember sitting there in this conversation, he's like, how much income are you guys bringing in? And it's like, next to nothing and all of this situation. He's like, so you don't really have any assets? No. We're going through all this. And he's like, well, I can't give you a loan. I'm like, or a line of credit. I'm like, why? He's like, because you don't have any money. I'm like, that's the point. That's why I'm here. It's because we don't have any money. Like, this doesn't make sense to me. You won't give me a line of credit. I need money. And he's like, well, you got to have money to get a line of credit. I'm like, this whole formula doesn't make sense to me. And so networking is a lot like the line of credit. When you need it is not the time to go build your network. When I needed that line of credit was not the time to go try to build it. When things are actually good and I have some money and I have revenue, that's the time to go set all that stuff up, which is just the way that it works. And your network's gonna be the same. At the moment you need it, you better have already built it. And so if you haven't built your network, it's not too late. I wanna share with you the reasons why this is super important to do. Number one, the first reason to have a network and why you wanna have this is because you want them to buy your stuff. You wanna have people who can be an affiliate army for you out there sharing what you do to the world. Think about it this way. You go through so much effort to sell a product or service, and then you ask your customer, hey, who could you refer for me? But imagine if you had 40, 50, 100 people out all the time, mentally armed with what you do, and every conversation that comes up with your product or service, they're sending you a referral. They're plugging in to that conversation and plugging you in for it. That kind of marketing is priceless, and it's worth the investment to build that network. So that's number one, having a group of people that can go out, buy your product, and demonstrate a referral network for you to send people your way to buy your product. Number two, and I think this one really gets sort of not enough attention, but as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, there's like this roller coaster of mental, emotional well-being. You could start your day really high, like, you started your day well, you listened to something that got your mental energy high, you're feeling good, your emotions are high. By like 10:30, 11, you've like leveled off. Maybe that sale didn't come through. You hit lunch. Maybe you're feeling good about the afternoon. Again, you start to get one sale or one appointment. I mean, you're all day like this, right? Every business owner goes through this multiple times a day. And sometimes there are just these like valleys of that roller coaster that you get stuck in. And having a network of people that you can bounce things off of, or just to raise your hand and say, hey, I'm struggling a bit, can't make a sale. Just like an athlete, right? Somebody gets up in baseball and they can't seem to make contact. Sometimes that's how it is as a business owner. Not everything goes well. And having a network of people that can support you just mentally, emotionally, and have that opportunity to bounce things off of is super important. Probably never been more important, and yet we don't talk about it enough. And that is one of the keys to having your network. All right, number three, that is what I call insulation. Your network is built to insulate you. So try to imagine this visual. You're in the middle of this network. They've surrounded you, if you will, but they're facing outside and they are protecting you. They're insulating you. What does that mean? As you grow your business, as you grow your influence, as you sell more products, as you do bigger and better things, unfortunately, just the way business is, you're gonna have a customer, a partner, an employee that maybe it goes sideways. Maybe it just doesn't work the way they expected or anticipated. I mean, look at businesses all the time. You can go on and see reviews, right? Look, you're wise enough, I'm wise enough. When you go on, you can see maybe a disgruntled person or an employee goes out on Glassdoor and they want to like just, rip the business owner because they got fired or whatever. You're smart enough to see through those. That's not really what I'm talking about. I'm talking about someone who's on a path to, attack your reputation or disparage your product or service. And what you want to have happen is that network it insulates you in a way where they're like, oh wow, hey, did you hear Chaz did this or did that or whatever? And you're like, I don't know if that's true or not, but that's not been my experience, right? My interactions have been good, full of integrity, pleased with the product or service. I mean, think about it with brands as well. You'll hear there's a place that I eat at regularly and someone said, yeah, I went there recently and the food was terrible. And I'm like, gosh, that's interesting because that's not been my experience the 30 times I've been there. So the key is that now, because I've eaten there and I know what the food is like, I can sort of insulate and protect that business to a certain extent. So insulation is a key point. As you grow and as you do bigger and better things, you're just gonna eventually have somebody that gets disgruntled with what you've done or not done. And having a network of people that can be out there as brand protectors insulates your business. This is so key and so crucial right now, especially as people can make comments instantly online that really there's no validation or verification of. So having an army of people who can insulate your business and insulate you is crucial. These are some of the reasons that you need to have a network. And right now it's really easy. And if you want to learn more about how to build your network and tips to networking, check out some of my other videos where I tell you exactly how to identify people that could be in your network, how to connect with them, and then what to do when you have finally connected with them to build a strong bond and build that relationship. Remember, you're only one relationship away from changing your future. But imagine if you had 30 or 40 of those relationships who were dialed into what you did, they believed in you, they trusted you, and they promoted you. That kind of army of people in a network is what is required to be successful. I believe the next group of successful millionaires in business will be those who are really good with people. And having a network is the key to that. Wish I'd learned this early on. Now you know it, and now you know how to do that. So as you build your network and as you connect with people, watch how it protects you from those attacks, watch how it insulates you, and watch how it helps you scale up your business as you prepare to grow and scale in the future.